Cool, thanks. Don't have much to go through today in terms of emails. And I'd love to say I have the time to run through all the crosses for you, but I'll just answer the emails today. I've got to go and muster some horses, so we've got a truck coming to pick a couple up today, so in about an hour. So Monday morning I will go through all the crosses for you. And for the month of September, the webinars are at 9 AM. I'll remind you guys in the email, but the Q&A sessions will be 9 AM for the month of September. So, without much further ado, let's get straight into it. Where's my mouse gone? There you are. Right. Euro Sing. The first thing I don't see is divergence. Whilst this it's not really in a channel, and my data in terms of MetaTrader doesn't go back that far, so I want to be a strong horizontal, but I'm not really seeing divergence. Yes, I notice that with your Euro Sing that you've got that there is divergence there, and that is clear. I can see that. But what you want to see is this momentum disappearing. Okay. The euro dollar itself doesn't really have it either. It does have divergence from this low to this low, which is about the same time frame. But it's this momentum that you're wanting to see disappear. For the pound, we are seeing divergence across these lows here, and not so much off this move, but certainly along these lows here, we're seeing a divergence. This is a point higher than that. It doesn't look at what it is. This is 17. This is get on there. Is 18. So that's a higher point. So that's a higher low. So and that's the kind of divergence you wanted to be seeing. The Kiwi, I don't think had. The Kiwi did have divergence. So we've got across here. These 4 or 5 bucks, you're getting that divergence. Whereas what you're looking at is, what you wanted to see is that divergence here, and you're not seeing that. A bit like the Aussie Kiwi, it's up against this resistance, this Fibonacci that is really holding it in, and has been. The 50 was resistance and the 30 was support. Now the 618 is being resistance, and we're not seeing that divergence. You are from this high to that high, yeah, but it's this momentum here that you want to see disappear. So that would be my comment on that. You're saying divergence, but I think whilst it is there, I'm looking at that as a cycle. So we've got 1 cycle, 2 cycles, and this is the 3rd cycle, but there's no divergence there. And there was divergence on this cycle. You can see those 2 lows, and that's much higher. Yeah, so there was divergence there, but there's no divergence here, not yet. So I would not be looking at that. But thank you for sending that in. That's good. And you see the other call was that there was a stronger horizontal at 73, not 63, and it probably is. Another email about it. So I shouldn't have just removed it. So there's a second email about this currency pair. The potential phase 2. I haven't attached a screenshot, but I noticed on the chart prices at 50% retracement. Also note that on the monthly chart. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't replicate that on this trading platform. So I'll have to believe you. So it's bounced off the 50% monthly retracement. I'll also note that on the daily chart, when you measure the phase 1's price turns well into an extension area and retraces. Okay, so on that one, it stopped at 2. That's good. And on this one, I presume it stopped around there as well. We're a bit below 2, but yeah, well into the extension. And are we in the extensions now? You are at the moment, yep. At the moment you have two buy bars but no RSI divergence. Good. It is possible the pair could bottom again before it completes its phase 2. Yeah, like this. They have a bit of a pull up and then pull back. You get a double bottom with clear divergence. That could well be the case. I also note that on the Singapore we have an engulfing buyer bar but a reasonable resistance level which is putting me off the trade. Dollar Sing here. Engulfing buyer bar. Yeah, look, it's just chopping about, isn't it? It's not ideal. This kind of support level. A bit of resistance. Let's see much more resistance there. That will go quickly. Maybe there. Yeah, it's a bit choppy. I'll put it there because we've got more hits along here. Yeah, I'm not interested in the dollar cent. I'll leave it well alone. Pound yen. Look, this trade for Monday. No, the trade should have been 2 days ago. You have this ring high here. You should have been looking at it underneath that bar. And potentially trading on this if it got under 5 pips underneath it. But if it hadn't, you would have left your ordering because this is a lower high, lower low, and full of selling intention. So worst case scenario, you should have traded yesterday. Monday is too late. Trading down here, the risk reward ratio is just not in it. So that's. However, you might look at it in a 4 hour if you get a cycle underneath it. Or potentially, if you're willing to do it, is trade the 1 hour cycle. Yeah, with the daily, we've missed the opportunity. And the Swiss yen, again, it really should have been 2 days ago that we traded in there. Had the ring high, you had the selling bar here, you should have been trading underneath that. None like this compared to the euro yen. I think this is not a strong setup as the euro yen at this level here. So again, I don't see that as a Monday trade. It should have been a while ago, 2 days ago trade. And again, if you are wanting to trade it, we're looking at the lower cycles because the daytime aim is gone. If you compare this setup compared to the euro yen, there is this support level here that you have. And there's also a resistance level across here that it reacted to these lows, highs and lows. So highs and highs. And that one should have been traded a couple of days ago too. So that one's in the money, a couple of pips. And just seeing if it reacts to this, what happens today really. I'd like to see it go through there tonight. This is yen as the things in Ukraine get any worse, then the yen will get stronger, which will push this further south. And it'll do that on the pound yen and the Swiss yen as well. But as I said, I think the pound yen was a good setup, but it should have been taken yesterday. And the Swiss yen not as strong as something like the euro yen. Because the Swiss yen didn't have that clear resistance level. Look, lots of potential phase 1 starting next week with the US and Europe coming back off their summer breaks. The majors, Aussies going sideways, everything else is falling, and looks like they're doing a phase 2. The euro looks like it, the pound looks like it, the Kiwi's certainly in it, the yen's doing it, the CAD's, well, the CAD has done its phase 2, it could be coming all the way back to this cycle here, which would put it into almost a wedge type formation. Doesn't quite, just underneath that, isn't it? So everything's certainly reversing on the majors. And on the other ones that you're looking at, this again is at the end of phase one. This is at the phase one, broke through that major support line well and truly, thanks to Burger King. It bounced off the 382 of this, that major move, and that's the Euro CAD. Euro pound potentially starting phase one or even the start of phase one. So I don't know if there's lots of phase one setting up next week, certainly lots of phase twos. Euro pound stop loss management process. I was keen on this from the 14th but didn't enter until the 25th. Yesterday was a low test bar and I chose not to move the stop. Okay. Today's seller bar is type it as a high, 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 low. So if it stays this way, I should have the risk and move it to 0.8 tomorrow morning. I recently moved the stop too close to Euro Aussie and was stopped out on the 26th, ruling profit, but it was continued to run. In hindsight, I should have made more than had I given it more room. So now I suppose I'm wanting sounding board. Okay. So the Euro, let's cover the Euro Aussie side first. We moved it too close to this low test and got stopped out on the 26th. The two seller bars, you have every right to move it. Two consecutive seller bars there, two consecutive seller bars here. Let me just write up so it's a bit more clearer. If you had got in here or around this area, when you had on the count 1, 2 consecutive seller bars, and you only had one more seller bar, this could be a low test bar. You could argue that it is a low test bar, and therefore a reason to move your stop. But once your stop's at break even, and you probably would do that after this two seller bars and have a stop here, I'd be inclined, and I generally am, is to wait just for reversal bars. Rather than test bars. And if that was a test bar, what was it testing? That's the thing you've got to ask yourself, is what is it really testing? 1.272 I don't think is a strong move in terms of a phase one. Generally the 1.618 is where you're heading, and you can see that 1.618 nicely lines up with the horizontal level that I have from that low there. I don't know how that shit works. So I would have had my reversal bar. The other thing is that what's the high there is 05 and the high here is 20, so that's 15 pips there. You could suggest that that's just unfortunate to get taken up at 2 pips. Again, we have another test bar and you oversold, but again, there's no reversal bar. So in that sense, you'd have a seller bar, a buyer bar, seller bar. There's no other reason to move your stop, and it should still be above there until unless you have a target here. You shouldn't be really getting out of this at this stage. Although that horizontal and 1.618 might suggest that you move your stop up pretty tight. And that would be the argument. But with momentum down here, horizontal there, what is it, 4845, 20 pips away from it. It could be showing, because it's quite a strong level and the momentum's overdone, shying away from that. So that might be an argument to move your stop tighter. But this one I don't think is very that strong an argument. So going to the euro pound, let's just check what you got here. Bearish reversal of the urgency, all the right reasons for getting in it. I was a little concerned about this channel, so to speak. Inside buy bar doing nothing, low test bar doing nothing, trader's discretion. Okay, so are you on board with this today? Are you watching this later? Because we have sailing and something. Okay, so looking at this, just a second, sorry. Hey, Charlie, shush. Just trying to see. There is a bit of a support level there, and you'd say that's 15 kind of thing. But looking at the weekly, there's not really much. I suppose that there and this sort of head-shoulder formation. The price should be under that. Yeah. So there's quite likely there is no support at this stage for it. The channel I was looking at was pretty much that. No, sorry, that. Yeah. If we look at that. And that was what I was potentially looking at, but it's broken underneath that, so, you know, what did you get in? So 964 on the 25th. So 964. Okay, so underneath that. The higher this bar is 79, your entry. So you're not going to put it at a break even, that's just a little too close. There's still plenty of downside to room to go on the downside. Yes, there's also room on the upside, but the momentum is with this, so you should be looking okay. 2 consecutive seller bars could be a reason to move your stop. But where you're going to move it is the question. And I'd probably be looking at something like this above this level there. I've got a couple of lows there. If your stop was up here, you've got you're talking 80 pip stop sort of thing, maybe looking at 40 pips, halving this risk, and going 40 pips, which is well above this level here, and possibly above 80, nice round number. So that's what I'd be doing, is halving the risk and getting a stop in there. And once that does get lower low, and you've got in today's bar you've got 2 seller bars, and putting the stop at break even and above this. So that's how I would manage that one. Right. Last one is the pound itself. So kind, would you be so kind and look at the chart? Yes, I will be. Would you say the bullish reversal divergence is valid? I'm not sure if the support at 65.50 is very strong. I'd like to place an order tomorrow. This came in yesterday. Oh shit. Sorry. I'd appreciate a response before the webinar. Sorry, I didn't read that. Issue is this horizontal at 65.50 a strong one? Well, I don't think it is. I've been looking at this and wanting to trade it myself. Well, in fact, I have traded it, but that's not on the prop rules. According to the prop rules, and I haven't traded this in the prop account, but according to the prop rules, this is not a strong horizontal. You can see there's only really one low there. If you go to the weekly, it's not, you'd have to say that it's up here or it's down here. So the 63 level, which is huge, but that's miles away. You can see how often 63 turns. When we go to the monthly, and again, this one here is 1, 2 maybe there, but all this crap, we can't say that that is a strong horizontal. It's barely a soft horizontal. That said, There's other things the market's reacting to. If you put your Fibonacci on this here, so up there, the 1.272. If you go from this burst here with 1.618, if we look at the weekly and say, well, what's this move here? So this move here is the 382. So there's plenty of Fibonacci levels to argue, saying, well, there is no horizontal there yet, but that Fibonacci is low as well before that high was actually set. You've got Fibonacci clusters, and that may create this to be a strong level. But there is divergence there, that's clear to see, and you'd expect this to have a bit of a pullback after its almost 4% drop. So I've got to reply to you saying, sorry I didn't get to you before the webinar, but in answer to your question, I don't think it's a strong level, but it could become strong based on the Fibonacci clusters. So it is with some, again, you prefer to be seeing it out of this kind of move here. Yes, there's clear divergence there, but there's also divergence where you want to see it, which is right at the end. Okay. And yes, you put the Fibonacci, it should be on that high there, at this high, but yeah. Okay. Well guys, I've got to go and do the mustering forces, so I shall leave you to it. Next week will be big with data, it being the first week of the month. Not much out tonight except for the Canadian GDP, the European CPI, which everyone knows is going to be crap. European unemployment at 11.5%, that's not going to change much. So, a big week will be next week. It's also non-farm payroll week. Chinese manufacturing, European manufacturing, RBA on Tuesday. Holiday on this, Thanksgiving holiday, is it? Labor Day. Okay. US manufacturing. Stevens again. Canadian central bank meets, UK central bank meets, European central bank meets, and then you've got non-farm payrolls. So big week for central banks being Aussie, Canada, UK, and Europe. Maybe all those movements will complete the phase 2s for us. So, as mentioned, 9 AM kick-off for the webinars next month. You guys have a great weekend. Any questions before I go? No, you're pretty quiet. Okay. Well, you have a great weekend, and I shall talk to you Monday morning, 9 AM. Thanks, mate.